Hello, Planeswalkers. Andrew here, joined by our friend Bailey. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, what's up, guys?
He has his
Um,
own YouTube channel around. It's mainly modern, right?
yeah, I usually play modern, really like off-meta decks in the format. So really like fun, unique decks. You've probably, if you like Magic and you like the more like casual side, you'll probably like my channel a lot. So hope you check it out. It is Baileecakes, and it's probably somewhere in the description if these guys know what they're doing.
It will be, of course.
Okay, sounds good.
We wouldn't have a guest on without plugging something of theirs. So I know what I want to talk about, but did you? It sounded like you wanted to talk about something right off the bat.
Okay, so basically the concept for today's like discussion was tribal decks. And the reason that I was thinking about tribal decks is because I'm just here reading like some of my latest videos off, and like most of them are like tribal strategies, and I feel like a lot of new, just weird tribes have been pushed lately. So I'll just read you some. There's spirits, werewolves, tree folks, clerics, wizards, dinosaur Ponza, rogues, and I think I did like a 8 ball elemental deck. But it seems like Wizards is just pushing a lot of tribes because people really like tribal decks for whatever reason. And I like them a lot too. And I cannot explain to you why I like them. I just do. Like, I just love them.
I mean, it's just a neat mechanic because typically a tribe will follow a given theme, and so they'll naturally work well together. And then you have
Yeah,
cards that support, like you can choose a creature type, like Icon of Ancestry, I believe, stuff
yeah.
like that, and it just makes those decks really strong and synergize really well.
Okay, so I think you're gonna hate me for what I'm about to say, but my first like deck that I built in sort of competitive Magic, like going and like actually going to like FNMs and stuff, was a sliver deck. So
I
the
think
slivers.
slivers are like the tribal build. They are
Yeah,
all anthems of one kind or another for each other.
yeah. No, this was like during M14 where the slivers came back, and that was the time I actually like got started in Magic. So like I was opening packs and I was like, oh cool, Predatory Sliver, Manawef Sliver, Gale Rider Sliver, and I just built like a really crappy like 3 color deck, all basic lands with just slivers, and I did well with it somehow, but I think I think that like we're drawn to tribal decks for whatever reason, and
Mm.
Slivers, being the tribalist of the tribal decks, was one of the ones that I was drawn to first. Um,
It's a fantastic tribe. It gets out of hand real quick.
oh
Uh,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't know if we've had a Commander Coliseum where Tyler's brought on his Sliver Hive. Is it Sliver Hive Lord? It's either Sliver Hive Lord or Sliver Overlord deck, and just he has this combo. There's a sliver that redirects damage, and he does makes all of his slivers redirect damage, and he does like Starve Extinction, and just
Hmm.
wins the game on the spot. It's ridiculous.
Isn't that like but not is it Spiteful
It
Sliver? I'm
is.
thinking
It is
yes.
Spiteful Sliver. I'm gonna
It
pull
has
these up
the
as we talk and
yeah,
save
it
them.
has it has the Boros Reckoner effect, but with all of your slivers, and then you just play like Blasphemous Act or something and just murder your opponent. It's really fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really fun.
It is a win con on a creature.
Yeah. I mean, you play those. You play Fire Song and Sunspeaker, though, right?
I
Or do you?
want to build that deck. It has not
Okay.
been brewed yet, but I
So
want to.
in my list, you play a lot of sweepers because you'll gain like hundreds of life off of them if you have the Fire Song and Sunspeaker in play. But if you play like something like Boros Reckoner or Spiteful Sliver, and you could just like play like a Blasphemous Act and just like do 13 damage, 26 damage to someone's face, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not fun to be on the receiving end of it though.
yeah,
Where
but
it's just like, oh, blasphemous act resolves, I win,
yeah.
right?
But no, it's like slivers are really cool. There's also like a combo sliver. It says crap. I've seen some people play it in modern. It's each sliver in your graveyard has unearthed, and what they'll do is they'll put like one of the big slivers, so like sliver overlord or sliver hive lord, into the graveyard, and then they'll unearth the sliver for like 2 mana, and you just get a sliver for you just get a 5 mana sliver for 2 mana. It's pretty good.
Drakescape Sliver.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that one is pretty cool.
No, slivers are really cool. I think
Yeah.
Tyler's deck is Sliver Hive Lore. Yeah, it gives all your slivers indestructible. They just
Nice.
it's so it's so annoying to deal with.
Hmm.
That
No,
yeah, that is the tribal,
yeah,
the tribe.
that was my first deck, and I have a lot of people that are more like casually into the game who have sliver commander decks. Like I know like so many people who have at least like they'll have their collection of commander decks and there's one sliver deck in there. Like I was thinking about building a sliver deck, but 5 colors is super expensive, so I didn't do it. But yeah, I feel like everyone at some point either falls in love with slivers or just like hates them outright.
Yeah, they're definitely the Nubius of tribal builds. I feel because of how quickly they get out of hand.
Yeah, and it's a deck that builds itself because like every single creature is a lord, you know? It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, like goblins or merfolk, you have just like goblins that just like attack, right? Or you have merfolks that attack. But then you have a few lords. In slivers, everything is a lord. Where goblins, you have a few lords and then a few like just cards, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. What are your like do you have any tribal decks in Commander?
I do. I have two that come to mind. One is elemental tribal, and the other is night tribal. Um,
Interesting.
so the night deck is technically knights and legendary creature tribal, which is fun. Because I noticed, a whole bunch of these Mardu knights are legendary, and there are a bunch of cards that care about legendaries, including Arvad the Cursed, who
Hmm.
is a legendary knight himself, who cares about legendaries. The commander's Sir Gwyn, so I give all my knights equip 0. Um, and I also run a bunch of legendary equipment. Like I have, what is it called? Godsend, Shadow Spear, I think is legendary.
Yeah, yeah.
Embercleave, stuff like that. That I can search up with some of my some of my cards that care about legendary spells, and it's just a really strong build when it gets going because you just play a bunch of knights and then load them all up, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You said it's a night tribal commander, right?
Yes,
Mardu Knights?
yes,
Alright. I'm gonna so I know that Throne of Eldraine, like one of those sub themes was knights, so there's a lot of really good knights from that set. But
yes.
it's and
Go ahead.
also from Lorwyn too, right?
Maybe I don't know as much about Lorwyn. I just for some of the older
No.
sets, I just grab cards and use them.
Right. So who was your commander again? What was the commander?
Sir Gwyn. I took the Brawl deck that was Knight
Oh,
equipment and
okay.
turned it into a commander deck.
I'm looking it up myself. I didn't really know what it did, but so oh my god, whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So every time you attack with something, an equipment, you just draw a card.
Yeah, so
So
it behooves you to equip multiple creatures as opposed to going full Voltron, because then you
yeah,
swing with multiple equipped creatures, you draw a bunch of cards.
that's crazy.
And she also has
Yeah.
Vigilance and Menace. And I call the deck
Hmm.
Dark Souls. So,
That's awesome.
they're legendary
Yeah,
knights.
I'm looking at the knights here. There's actually some pretty strong ones. There's the the Paragon that makes the equipments cost one less. Then
Oh,
there's
Dana
the
the Capuchin?
yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's the Knight of Windgrace that can just make knights, and then you can tap to destroy creatures. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. One of my favorite additions to that deck is I have the silver bordered Circadian, the Night Owl. Uh, I always ask people if it's okay if I run him, and everyone said yes.
What
Uh,
does that do?
so obviously it's silver bordered, so it's going to be funny. Night lifelink. Damage
Okay.
dealt by knights you control causes you to gain that much life. You can pay a white during the day only to give him vigilance, and you can pay black only during the night to give him flying for the turn.
Interesting. That's really cool. I also, there's the one that gives all your knights double strike. That one seems insane because you don't get double triggers, do you? No, you don't get double triggers, but it seems pretty crazy because you can get double triggers off of your swords, right? With the Kinsbale Cavalier, if you give them double strike.
Is that how that works? It would only work if they got through, but
Yeah,
maybe
but if you give them double strike, then they can get through twice, and so your swords might be able to trigger twice, right?
I don't know. Let me see. Double strike and combat damage.
Yeah, it says like this is sort of feast and famine. When an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, so double strike you dealing combat damage twice to a player. So you'll get the effect twice.
Okay, so that does work. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool. What's the? I don't actually know if I have that knight in the deck. Which knight is that?
Really? It's called Kinsbale Cavalier. It's night creatures you control have double strike.
Kinsbale
Cavalier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Kithkin knight.
Yes.
I should be running that. I imagine I might have glossed over it when I built the deck because it's not legendary, and I was only keeping the non-legendaries that were already in the deck.
Yeah.
For the most
You
part.
play Blackblade Reforged, right?
Yes.
Because you can equip it for 0. Do you play Colossus Hammer? Because
Colossus
that's some
Hammer, yes, that is a combo there. Just 0 equip cost. So
Yeah.
1 mana +10/+10.
Holy shit! Yeah, it's good.
There's like I said before, Embercleave, Shadow Spear, Godsend. I think there's some banner that's an equipment. It's like from Kamigawa or something.
Yeah, but no, that deck seems really fun. You said you also play Elementals, though, right?
Yes, and this is actually one of my favorite decks. It's Omnath, Locus of the Royal.
Okay.
So I care about Elementals because his ETB deals damage equal to the number of Elementals you control. So I run a bunch of fun stuff like Muldrifter, Avenger of Zendikar. One of my favorite combos is not Cavalier, Thunderkin Awakener, if I can find it on here. Thunderkin Awakener and Scampering Scorcher.
Oh, Thunderkin Awakener is a beast. That card is really good.
Yes.
I was playing that in one of my decks with the ball lightning, and with the other one. It's not ball lightning. It's ball lightning was one of them, and then there was one called it's black and red. So I don't think it would be in your deck, but it's crap. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't run black yet. As soon as we get the 5th Omnath card, I will be very happy because then I can run Yarok and every Omnath in the same deck.
Okay, so basically the deck that I had, it was it played Thunderkin Awakener to get back every single turn Ball Lightnings and Lightning Skelemental. So like every turn you're getting back a 6/1 that just hits them for 6 every single turn, makes them discard cards. It's pretty insane. But yeah.
I've heard of a combo with Thunderkin and one of the Cavaliers. I got it off of an Omnath Discord. I think it's Cavalier of Flame. I think it's Cavalier of Flame. When it enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many. Is that? I actually don't know now. Because you would need to buff Thunderkin Awakener to even have him call back Cavalier of Flame.
Right. But if you can buff Thunderkin Awakener and make it like, you know, a 5/5 or like a 5/6 or something, and regrow all of your other elementals, like that's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's just a sneak attack. The same kind of effect as the legendary boar. What was it called?
Ilharg?
Ilharg, yes. Same kind of effect.
Well, this one, Thunderkin Awakener is from your graveyard.
Yes. Oh, you're right. Ilharg's from your hand.
From your hand, yeah.
Yeah. Another good target for Thunderkin is Risen Reef.
My
favorite card in the whole game. But yeah, animating Scampering Scorcher or blinking it with like Thassa Deep Dwelling, which is another card I run in the deck. You just drop it, you make 2 more elementals, and if you do that a couple of times, then by the time you drop Omnath, you have like 7 elementals, and you just punch. You just get to remove something on the board.
Yeah. Can you hit someone's face with Omnath?
Yes, it is any target.
Yes. So you could just, if you play Omnath Locust of Royal, would be really good if Yarok, because you get to combo that enters ability.
I know, right? But they intentionally kept them separate by preventing Omnath from getting black mana until his last iteration, which I cannot wait for.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's 5-color elementals. Why don't you just play a 5-color elemental, like one of those 5-color elemental commanders?
I already have 2 5-color decks, and I like Omnath a lot. I do run a Yarok deck, but it's not elemental themed. It's just it's actually Zendikar themed, with a lot of kicker and landfall in it.
Mm-hmm.
So not really a tribal build. That's why I didn't bring it up initially.
Yeah, Hoard. It's called the 5-color one is Hoard of Notions, and you can pay 1 of each color to play target elemental card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost.
Oh.
And you play Muldrotha in it, which is really good. And you can play Maelstrom Wanderer in that deck too.
Yeah, Maelstrom's really good, isn't it? It's Cascade. Excuse me. Yeah. Muldrotha. I always forget that Muldrotha's an elemental. I always think it's an ooze.
It should be an ooze, but you know what? It's an elemental. It should be an elemental ooze. That's what it should be.
Yeah. Avatar. I don't know. I feel like they throw Avatar in anything that's like, it's supernatural, but what is it? Avatar. You're definitely right on that. I'm looking at this Hoard of Notions art, and there's all these like animals around it, like a floating rabbit, a floating tiger, and a fox and an elk and stuff. But hold up, is its face? Its face is a sperm whale.
Is it?
It is. It's just a. It should be a chimera, like an elemental chimera, then.
Yeah, its face is a whale, and then it's just like chilling with like a fox and like all these weird animals.
That doesn't scream elemental to me. I don't feel like that's very on brand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sick ability, but the card art's just weird.
It is weird. But as far as like, I don't really like play tribal in Commander. Although if I did, I would probably play vampires, because Edgar Markov is just insane.
Oh yeah, with he's one of the eminence cards, right?
Yeah, no, that is just busted. Like, you don't even have to have it out. It could just be chilling in your command zone, and then every time you cast a vampire, you just get a free body. Like, that's crazy.
It's probably why they never did Eminence again, because this was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Eminence is just good. How much is it
Yeah.
the pre-con for that? I'm curious now.
Edgar Markov itself is $25.
The
It's gonna be a really expensive pre-con probably.
pre-con is 100 on eBay, 165 on TCG Player.
Holy crap.
Wow.
That's too much.
Too much money for buying a pre-con. Although I do have some decks that are worth more than that.
Right, but they're not pre-cons.
This is true, and I also share cards between decks, so that saves me money. Oh well.
Yeah.
There's the
But like the vampires are pretty decent. Like having like black, white, and red vampires, there's a lot of good options for it, you know?
yeah, Edgar is just in every color that you would ever need for vampires, which
Yeah.
makes him perfect. Whereas with like elementals, they're mostly in Teamer, but you also have some white and black ones like Yarok that you miss out on. But with Edgar, he covers pretty much all of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any vampires that you can't put in an Edgar Markov deck. But like there's so many just like vampires that like do things with pumping your team, or there's like cordial vampire that can put a 1/1 count on each vampire when something dies. Oh, and my favorite thing about the vampires is that like the whole idea of the vampires is you make other things vampires. They have cards like Captivating Vampire and the old Olivia Vildarin, where you can just literally like gain control of your opponent's creatures, and that
Which one?
seems really.
Which one's
Huh?
the old one?
It's just Olivia Vildarin,
Ah.
and you can pay mana to just take control of a creature, which seems pretty legit, honestly. Especially if you have lots of mana open.
That
And then
is
Cap.
that is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead, man.
It is 7 mana to take a creature though, because you have to pay 2 to turn it into a vampire first. It's a big mana investment, but it's neat. It's flavorful.
You can do it every single turn. You can take control of all of your opponent's creatures.
Yeah, this is true. If you just have a metric ton of mana, then you can just do this multiple times a turn and become a menace.
Mm-hmm. Captivating Vampire is probably the better one, though, in an Edgar Markov deck. What it says is tap 5 untapped vampires you control, and then you gain control of a creature. So with Edgar making you tokens, when you play a vampire, you can tap those for Captivating Vampire to just gain control of your opponent's creatures. And you can do it at instant speed, too. It's pretty lit.
Oh my god, yeah. Vampire tokens. That's an
from the
idea.
Edgar Markov. Yeah, and then Captivating Vampire uses those to just take control of stuff. It's pretty neat.
God, and you don't even need him on the field. God.
Yeah.
Eminence is so good.
It is really good. And then, I don't know if you can look it up, but there's also a really good one, Bloodline Keeper, where you could just put a 2/2 on to play. But you can flip it, and it becomes a Lord, but it's +2/+2 instead of +1/+1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of vampires that work really well together, and you can take control of your opponent's creatures. There's sort of like an aristocrats theme you can have with it, but really the reason you play that deck is Edgar Markov, because that card's Imminence is just broken.
Yeah, Eminence is really good.
As far as like my favorite tribes, I have like 2 that I really like in sort of constructed formats. The first one, a lot of people don't like this deck because it sees like play like everywhere. It's the Rogue deck that just like came out from Zendikar Rising, and I play it in Standard, but I also like play it in Modern too, and it's pretty legit because you have the
Party?
some pretty, huh?
Party?
No,
Party
rogues. No,
well,
it's
yeah,
rogues.
Rogues are one of the 4 for party. I was just wondering if that.
You don't care about the party. You just care about the rogue synergies, honestly. And you have some pretty good stuff. Like you have a 2 mana lord with Soaring Thought Thief that says as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard. Rogues get +1/+0. So that's one Lord you have at 2 mana. And then you have Una's Blackguard, which is a modern card that says each other rogue comes into play with an additional 1/1 counter on it, which is really good too, because like even if it's gone, the rogues get a buff too.
Yeah,
So even
I've
like
seen that card a lot.
yeah, so you have those two mana lords, and then you have 2 1 mana flash creatures. So you don't even have to play it on your turn; you can play it on your opponent's turn. And at the top end, you have Nighthawk Scavenger, which is really good if you're using your rogues to mill your opponent, because it can get really big really quickly.
Oh, it is a rogue, isn't it?
Yeah, Nighthawk Scavenger. It's a vampire too, but it's a rogue, and it a lot of times it's like a 6/3 or like a or not a 6/3. Yeah, it'd be like a 4 or like a 5/3, and it's a really big clock. Um, but yeah, it's a really weird deck because you're an aggro deck that is flashing creatures in and attacking your opponent, but you're also milling them. So it's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I do.
you get to take advantage of like drown in the lock and stuff, and like surgical extraction. So like if you mill something good over, or if you like mill over a combo piece with one of your rogues, you can just exile it with like a surgical extraction.
What was the other card you used? Oh, surgical extraction. That's what
Yeah,
it
surgical
was.
extraction. And then drown in the lock is just like insane in mill. But
So is
do you
this
know
Rogue Mill?
it's rogue mill, yes, but it's more of like an aggressive deck than like a milling deck, if that makes any sense. It just has like the byproduct of milling your opponent, and then you can sort of take advantage of that with like drown in the lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's one card that I want to try in this list. You probably have to look it up unless you just know what it does. Do you know what Blood Chief Ascension is?
No. Blood Chief. I gotta look these up anyways to get them in the
Yeah.
video.
So Blood Chief Ascension says, at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent lost 2 or more life this turn, you put a quest counter on it. And whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, if it has 3 or more quest counters, you have that player lose 2 life and you gain 2 life, right?
Huh.
So it's really weird card, and it's not that good, but in like a rogue deck, you can really take advantage of it because your rogues are dealing damage to your opponent, so you're going to put the counters on the enchantment, and then your rogues are also milling your opponent too when they attack, so you're going to get value off of the second half of the enchantment as well, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. That's neat. Do you
Yeah.
run? There's this Naga rogue that's unblockable.
Oh no, I don't run him. Why would you need to run him? Flying is as good as unblockable most of the times, really.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you also in my list, I'm playing Bitter Blossom because it makes fairy rogues. They're fairy rogues.
Yeah, they go along with Una's theme.
Yeah, so they're not just fairies; they're fairy rogues, which is really interesting. So you just put Bitter Blossom in there, and you got a really good threat there.
That's weird. So it's a fairy tribal enchantment, but it makes fairy rogues.
Yeah, so technically it works in this deck.
Probably doesn't even. I've never seen a fairy deck, so I doubt it. I doubt it's ever used in a fairy deck. It's probably just used in rogue decks.
I mean, now, yeah, but fairy decks were a big thing back in the day. Like you had lots of good fairies. Like you had this fairy that came in. It's called Spell Stutter Sprite, and it comes in and it counters a spell with CMC equal to or less than the number of fairies you control, something like that. But you play that in that deck, and then you play like Vendilion Clique and stuff like that too. But
Huh.
that was like Lorwyn era things.
Yeah, I see that this sprite was in Lorwyn, first printed in Lorwyn.
Hmm.
I'm kind of sad that I missed out on all these standard metas because I started playing this game like 2 years ago.
No, I mean like I started playing like not that long ago either, like from like M14. So like I missed a lot too, but you know, modern lets us like sort of play, and like same with like Commander lets us play with these older cards that you wouldn't usually play in standard.
Yeah, it's just funny. Tyler likes to point out how a lot of my favorite cards are newer, like the last 2 or 3 years, where he's been playing a lot longer, so he has a lot of favorite cards from like 10 to 15 years ago, and it really does show how long I've been playing this game.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like I don't know if I have any like favorite cards or anything. Well, the second sort of tribe that I really like to play, although it's not that great, is Cat Tribal. I love it. I love it so much. I played it a few times on my channel. I played it 3 times on my channel. It hasn't been a while. It's been a while since I've played it. But Cat Tribal in Modern, I think I played it because of. Do you know Kahira,
Kahira.
the Orphan Guard?
Oh yeah.
The companion. So basically, you everything in your deck is a cat, and then you get that as just a companion for free, basically.
Yeah, Kahira is good for tribal builds like that. Like, oh, I didn't even realize it was good for dinosaurs. That's neat.
Isn't it elementals on there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could play it
Oh.
like an elemental list.
Oh, if my Locus of Creation deck was tribal, I could run this, but it's not. It's just
Hmm.
landfall. That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
but in the list that I have Kahira in the sideboard as a companion, and then I play like a lot of really like aggressive cats, like a Wild Nacatl, and then you have like Kasali Pride Mage, Brimaz. But one really interesting thing about this deck is that you play Leonin Arbiter. You know what that does, right?
No, but I'm about to find out. Players can't search libraries.
Yes. So
They have to pay
it's
too.
yeah. So what it is it's an aggressive deck, but it just plays Leonin Arbiter because it's a cat, right? And so what you do is you can use that in combination of Ghost Quarter or like yeah, you use that in combination of Ghost Quarter and you just rip their lands.
Destroy target land. Oh.
Yeah. So they you just destroy the land. They can't search for a land. So you have these creatures that are attacking them, and then you're also destroying their lands too. It's pretty cool.
That's
I like it. I
annoying.
like doing it. Yeah, it's a fun little strategy.
Let's see. There's trying to find creature I'm thinking of from Commander Legends. Um, it's blue, right, or is it black?
And what are you thinking about?
If I can find it in a timely manner, I will tell you. It It is black. Okay. Opposition agent. The real play is playing the what Leonin Arbiter. This completely fell apart. Leonin Arbiter, and then
Yeah.
when they do pay to search the library, you flash an opposition agent. Just you don't even get to search when you pay.
Oh no, that's mean. That's mean. I
You just
so that reminds me. You know Ashiok, the war Ashiok, the
yes.
ones that say
Is
you
that
can't search.
yeah? Dream render.
Yeah, that opponents can't search.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's kind of the same. They're very
Well,
similar, but
it's similar, but if one of your effects causes them to search, then they can search because Ashiok just
right,
says spells and abilities they control.
right. So it doesn't work exactly the same. Like, but so like if someone has an Ashiok and you ghost quarter their land, they still get to get another land. Well, if Leonin Arbiter, they don't get to get that land. So
Yeah.
it is a little different there. But yeah, I like taxing my opponent, destroying their lands, but also having just these cats that deal damage. You know,
You can get some flying cats too. The Sky Riders or whatever they're called.
the Sky Cat, was it Sky Cat Sovereign?
Um, no, that's I mean that is a cat. It's from Ikoria, but I mean they're a Leonin or something that ride like pterodactyls or whatever.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I want to build like a legacy cats and taxes. I think that would be fun
Oh
because you have a lot
God.
of cats. You have a lot of cats that like are kind of like taxing other than just Leonin Arbiter.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that'd be a little fun shell. I'm actually gonna look it up. I think Pleasant Kenobi played it a while back, but there's a few cats that just like there's one cat. What is it? I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's called like alms something, but it basically says that when your opponent draws a card, you and your opponent draw cards.
I'm not familiar. I don't know.
All right, I gotta look at the deck list in this video.
Also, I was thinking of the Sky Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they ride these drakes, but they are cats.
Huh. That's kind of weird. But okay, this cats and taxes deck plays Leonin Arbiter, the one that makes your opponent not search, in combination with like Ghost Quarter and stuff. It also plays Brimaz as a win con, and the card I was thinking of is called Alms Collector.
Alms Collector.
Yeah, it's 4 mana, so it's a lot of mana, but it's pretty neat.
Oh, draw 2 or more cards. Instead, you and that player. Oh.
Yeah. So your opponent brainstorms. It's like, okay, instead of drawing 3 cards, you draw 1, and I draw 1 too.
You're giving me value.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, and it's
God,
also a 3/4 body too.
God, that reminds me of a game I played. The game I played earlier today when I was just trying to blink my commander, and I played it's the one that lets you target 2 things to blink. And I was just like, oh, I'll blink my commander and I'll blink Soul Ring, and then I'll untap Soul Ring and get it for free. And then one of the other players copied it and then went infinite with it
Oh no.
and won the game. It's like, I just wanted to blink Golos. Ghostly Flicker.
I thought you guys gave away the Golos deck.
No, we made a new deck to give away.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
What deck did you guys end up giving away?
It was a Golos deck. It was just not the same Golos deck.
Ah, I see. I see.
We built, because my Golos deck is just built around Lands Matter, but the Golos deck that we built for the giveaway has a little bit of stuff from each of our playstyles, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, that's a deck you can literally put anything you want in because it's 5 colors.
Oh yeah, and Golos is so versatile. But yeah.
Alright.
Should, I think it's just about time to wrap up the video.
Okay.
So, this has been a lot of fun. And if you all want to check out Bailey's channel down in the description below, go subscribe and leave some likes. And yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Alright, thanks. I will be back some other time, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we should have you on a Commander Coliseum sometime.
Oh yeah, I need to get that worked out with like my webcam and stuff because that would be fun.
Yeah, if you can like just get like a tripod or something, you can use your phone.
I don't know. My phone's an Android. It looks grainy. It looks gray. It doesn't look good.
It's whatever.
Androids don't look good. They don't look good. All right.
Yeah, my dog wants to go out. So I thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment letting us know what you think, and subscribe if you want to see more from us in the future. Y'all have a great day.
All right, bye.